whispering about him loved him so much. Well, I got this little notion that I would just dish back a little sarcasm in his direction. And I replied with a smile that I couldn't understand why they loved him so much either. He stared at me in seeming shock for a moment, and I thought, oh my gosh, I've gone too far. I've crossed a line. And then he broke into a big smile as if to say, gotcha, Pastor. Schooled by the master, I think. And in that afternoon, I discovered whatever your thoughts or opinions or beliefs, Brady Curry expected you to be able to express them and defend them. I suspect in his mind, if you weren't able or willing to talk about what you thought or you believed, then perhaps you really didn't have the courage of your convictions. So in my conversation with him that day, I hope that this morning he would allow me to offer a little personal belief. Brady, I think that God has always delighted in your chosen sacred space just as much as you did. Your sanctuary, it started right there in that chair, in your living room or wherever you were seated, or wherever your wife and your kids and your grandkids were gathered. That was your church. Your cathedral, it flowed right out your front door, and it stretched out all of creation. And the ceiling of your Sistine Chapel, it was a creamy blue sky like today with maybe some real puffy white clouds moving over it. And the walls of that sanctuary that you built were woven together with love. Love for the folks that God had given you to love. And your favorite pew? Well, I would imagine it was a comfortable chair. Or fishing. Or playing a game of darts. Or with some grandkid crawling all over you. Wherever you were surrounded by the beauty of family and friends, that was your cathedral. Filled with all the people and things that mattered so much to you. And I will tell you, that matter to God. And so now, Brady, again, I'm just talking to you. It's just me and you. Nobody else is listening. In my humble opinion, it's one of those statements of faith that you always kind of rolled your eyes at that I can't prove. I'm convicted enough to say that you are the example of the stubborn, persistent kind of love acted out in daily actions and deeds of commitment and compassion that create the lasting relationships that matter most to God. No, it's not the kind of stuff that's going to be on CNN tonight, but it matters. It matters to this beloved wife. It matters to the family. It matters to your friends. It mattered to me. And so that day, before I left, I got back to him on that comment I'd made, where I thought I'd gone too far. And my last words to him that day were, I understand why all these people love you so much. A love like that, dear ones, I think, is a reflection of God's love. In a life where you loved well and you were well loved, well, that is a life that is well lived. It's a life that matters. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, to leave the world a little better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know that one life lived and breathed easier because you lived, that is to have succeeded. I suggest that many, many people across the years and across the miles have breathed easier because this man lived. And that, my friends, That, beloved, is a life that matters.
Ian had asked me to write some of my feelings down. I used to say he was a weird duck, as I called him, in his own special ways, only because he was a unique person. His own time and place to do things, and not in a normal way. It was Brady's way or no way. He loved and lived his life for our children that were mine. He took them on and raised them as if they were his from birth. He loved his grandchildren dearly, and that is a well-known fact. He would scold them in one voice and love them in the next. For if anyone had hurt them, I think we all know the rest. An emotional man was never to be, but don't let that make you fret, because beneath that shell was a loving, caring man we will never, ever forget. He gave us wonderful memories that will last forevermore. He will never, ever leave us. We have him in our hearts. Guys, Nanny thought she was done. And all of a sudden, this came out of nowhere. And I believe with all my heart, it was your Peepa saying this to you. For my grandchildren. So